that was rough. There's no spinning it, no sugarcoating, no excuses. Last week stunk. Bad picks, bad results, bad vibes. And if you're sitting there thinking, is it really that bad? Yes. Yes, it is. Because what we're doing here isn't just tossing out random guesses. This is about insight, rhythm, and riding the wave of the season. And last week, that was a wipeout. But let's shift that energy, because while the results didn't land, something did. This brand new studio. Fresh look, new setup, and a vibe that screams bounce back. So let's get this rolling. Welcome back to another edition of Uncle Dan's Best Bets right here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. New home, same hustle, and now with even more flavor thanks to the Connors and Ferris studio. Big shout out to them for helping us level up. This space is clean, professional, and most importantly, ready to deliver winners. We hit over 40,000 subscribers last week, and that's all thanks to the amazing support from this community. Seriously, appreciate all of you. This journey wouldn't be the same without the comments, the banter, the heated debates in the chat. Keep it coming. Now about that rough patch. 2 wins, 7 losses. That's not just a losing week, that's a gut punch. And even worse, I started hot. 2-0 to kick things off, and then the wheels just completely fell off. It wasn't pretty, and I own that. But you know what? This week, we're changing the story. I'm not just hoping we win, I'm calling my shot. We will have a winning week. Guaranteed. And if not, I'll give every single pick away for free next week. Lock it in. Print the tweet. Let's go. So what's the game plan? 8 plays lined up for week 2 of the NFL season. I dug deep, found trends I like, and there's one theme that keeps jumping off the page: the over. I love overs in general, but in week 2, I'm obsessed. This is the perfect storm. Offenses are starting to click, defenses are sore, and the wear and tear from week 1 is real. We heard Sean McDermott mention it earlier in the week, and it's not just coach talk. Chris Long brought it up on his podcast a while back too. Defenses are at their weakest physically right after the opener. They haven't taken hits like that in months. Meanwhile, most starting offenses barely played in preseason, so they're just now getting into rhythm. This is where fireworks happen. Points, points, and more points. Now, I try to find hard data to back this trend historically, something to really anchor the theory, but honestly, couldn't find much. Maybe it's not widely tracked, or maybe it just doesn't exist the way I imagined. But when you watch the games, you can feel it. Week 1 gave us a bunch of unders. Favorites held strong, and the betting board didn't really reward boldness. But week 2, that's when we make adjustments. That's when sharp bettors start to move the line. So let's ride the wave with 8 fresh picks, starting deep in the heart of Texas. We're opening in Dallas. Give me the Cowboys, -4.5 against the Giants. And look, I get it, divisional games can be weird. Emotions run high. Rivalries have layers, and anything can happen. But here's the thing. History doesn't lie. Dak Prescott is 13-0 straight up in his last 13 starts against the Giants. That's not a coincidence. 11 of those wins have come by at least 5 points. And in 7 of those games, Dallas scored over 35 points. That is absolute dominance. On top of that, Dallas is coming off extended rest from a Thursday game. That extra time matters. Game planning, recovery, rhythm, all of it favors the Cowboys here. And honestly, I just don't trust the Giants to keep pace. Their offense looks shaky, and the defense doesn't scare me. This is a spot where you fade noise and trust the trends. Dallas rolls. Next up, it might be a bit of sickness. I'm fully aware, but I'm taking the Bengals -3.5. I know. They looked flat last week. The offense sputtered. The vibes were off. But let's not pretend like this hasn't happened before. Cincinnati always struggles in week 1. It's like a tradition at this point. Joe Burrow even joked about it. They're off to a better start than last year. Yet, technically. But I'm not panicking. And here's why. They left points on the field. That loss wasn't about getting outclassed. It was about missed opportunities and early season jitters. Now, they've got a chance to rebound, and I think they do it in a big way. I'm also just not sold on Jacksonville. The Jaguars got a win last week, sure, but it felt more like the other team lost it than Jacksonville won it. I'm not buying the hype. Give me Burrow, Chase, and that Bengals offense to shake off the rust and make a statement. All right, now it's time to get a little grimy. Patriots and Dolphins, over 43.5. It's ugly, I know. These teams are messy. Neither one really scares you. But that's the point. I don't trust either defense. Miami's defense looks flat out bad. And the Patriots? Well, let's just say they're trying. But here's the key. If Miami's going to do anything this season, it's going to be offensively. Mike McDaniel's got to get something cooking, or it's going to be a long year. On the other side, the Patriots might finally be able to move the ball. Not a lot, but enough. And when you have two defenses this uninspiring, all it takes is a couple broken plays, and you're cruising toward the over. 43.5 is not a big number. This feels like a 27-24 type game. No one trusts these teams, and that's exactly when you pounce. Show me some offense. Rolling along, let's talk Detroit. Lions -6.5 versus the Bears. Big number? Absolutely. But sometimes the spread tells you everything. The smart money is pouring in on Detroit. They're only getting 14% of the bets. 14. But a whopping 82% of the money. That is massive. That's sharp action screaming. The Lions are the play. And when you look closer, it makes sense. Detroit is fantastic coming off a loss. Dan Campbell always gets his guys fired up. They're playing at home. And the Bears? Total mess. Short week, embarrassing second half, and a team that looks completely lost. The Packers smack them in the mouth, and I think the Lions are going to do the same. This is a bounce-back spot for Detroit. Get Jared Goff indoors, get Ben Johnson dialing up plays, and watch that offense hum. Lions by at least a touchdown. Now, before we keep going, let's just acknowledge something. Yeah, that's 4 favorites and an over. That's not usually the sharpest card. Normally, you want to sprinkle in some dogs, find a value, zig when others zag. But right now, that's where the line movement is. That's what the analytics are telling us. Favorites and overs. Public might be riding it, but so are the sharps. And when that happens, you follow the wave. All right, let's shift gears now and get into one of my absolute favorite plays of the week. And I know I said that last week too and got burned, but that's how this works. It's not about chasing wins. It's about sticking with what the numbers say, what your gut says, and what the film tells you. So with that, I'm riding with the Broncos, -1.5. And listen, I know what you're thinking. Dan, are you seriously backing Denver after what we just saw? Yes. Yes, I am. And not just backing them. I love this spot for them. Because this is the kind of setup that gets the public all out of whack. You've got the Colts coming off a monster win, blowing out Miami, putting up points, moving the ball at will, and looking like the team everyone wishes they had picked in their survivor pool. Meanwhile, Denver looked flat, struggled, barely survived, almost lost to a Titans team that had no business keeping it close. So why in the world is Denver favored in this game, and on the road no less? That's the trap. That's the bait. Vegas doesn't give out free money. When you see a line that makes no sense, that's when you dig in. And the answer is right there. This is a total overreaction to week 1. Colts stock is sky high. Broncos stock is dirt low. But when you actually break it down, Denver still has one of the best defenses in the league. They're not going to play that poorly again. And I don't care what Daniel Jones did last week. If you think that's repeatable against a unit like this, you haven't been paying attention. I expect Denver to clean up the mistakes, simplify the offense, and let the defense go to work. This is one of those games where the scoreboard might not reflect it until the fourth quarter, but Denver will control this game. Take the Broncos, lay the 1.5, and don't look back. Now, I promise you some underdog love, and here it is. Give me the Falcons plus 3.5 on the road in Minnesota. This is another game that's all about reading between the lines. On paper, the Vikings look hot. J.J. McCarthy made plays. They beat a solid team. And the narrative is starting to shift. Maybe this team is better than we thought. But hold up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is a short week for a young quarterback, now facing a defense that's feisty, physical, and hungry after a frustrating loss. Atlanta could have and probably should have forced overtime last week against Tampa Bay. That was a close game against a team we all agree is legit. So to now see the Falcons getting points against a Vikings team riding high, that smells like value. And the sharps agree. The betting splits here are clear, low percentage of bets on Atlanta, but a big chunk of the money. That's smart money coming in, fading the recency bias and trusting what the film shows. The Falcons can play. They're not flashy, but they're gritty. They're going to run the ball, control the tempo, and put pressure on Minnesota to match them possession by possession. And if McCarthy makes a few mistakes, this game could turn quickly. I love getting the hook at 3.5. I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta wins this one outright, but I'll take the cushion. All right, next up, and yeah, I'm doubling down on the shootouts. Give me the over 46.5 in Bills at Jets. Let's talk about Buffalo for a second. That second half last week was something. The offense came alive, Josh Allen got into a rhythm, and for the first time in a while, it looked like they had their swagger back. The Bills might not be the same juggernaut they were 2 years ago, but that ceiling? Still very much there. And when this offense is clicking, they can hang points on anybody. But here's the issue. I'm not sure I trust this defense right now. They're banged up, tired, and got pushed around by Baltimore. They had a walkthrough on Thursday, which tells you they're still recovering physically. Not a good sign when you're about to face a team that can run the ball the way the Jets can. New York might not be perfect, but there's something different about this group. New coach, new quarterback, new energy. They've got weapons, and they've got a clear identity. Run the ball, control the clock, hit play action. I think they can score on this Bills defense, especially if the tackling issues show up again. And on the other side, we know Buffalo can score. This doesn't feel like a grinded-out AFC East matchup. It feels like both teams can push past 20 points and keep this thing moving. 46.5 isn't a small number, but it's manageable with two capable offenses. I like the over here, and I like it early. This might be one of those games where the first half decides it. And to close things out, I'm on one of my go-to guys, Khalil Shakir, over 45.5 receiving yards. This is one of those prop bets that casual fans overlook, but sharp bettors love. Keon Coleman got all the buzz last week. Big catches, highlight plays, and yeah, he deserves it. But guess what that means? Extra attention. You can bet Sauce Gardner is going to be glued to him all game. That opens up room for Shakir underneath. He's quick, he's reliable, and he's got the trust of Josh Allen. This feels like a perfect spot for Shakir to rack up 6 or 7 targets, mostly on short to intermediate routes, and quietly hit that number without needing a deep shot. Think 5 catches for 52 yards type of stat line. It won't look flashy, but it'll get the job done. And there it is. 8 plays, a mix of favorites, a dog, a couple of overs, and one juicy prop to round it out. And I'll say it again. We are not walking out of week 2 empty-handed. This is a bounce-back week. The board looks cleaner, the lines make more sense, and the energy feels right. This is where we start building momentum. We got the new studio, the fresh look, and now it's time for some fresh results on the board. Let's ride. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing louder than ever after what could be one of the most shocking free agent moves of the year. Aaron Donald, the defensive juggernaut who has terrorized quarterbacks for nearly a decade, is reportedly headed to the Buffalo Bills. While nothing is official just yet, sources close to the situation hint that Donald has agreed in principle to terms with the Bills, sending shockwaves through both the AFC East and the entire league. Buffalo, already a team with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, could be about to transform into a defensive nightmare for opponents. Imagine the dynamic. Donald, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, lining up opposite a defensive scheme that already features standout talents like Tre'Davious White and Micah Hyde. If the whispers are true, the Bills' front 7 will become one of the most feared units in football, capable of disrupting quarterbacks faster than ever. Donald's reported move also sparks intrigue about Buffalo's championship window. The Bills have been tantalizingly close to the big prize in recent seasons, with Josh Allen leading a high-powered offense. Now, with Donald potentially anchoring the defensive line, the Bills could finally achieve the balance that has eluded them: elite offense and elite defense. Sources hint that Donald himself is motivated by the challenge, promising a hunt for QBs that could redefine the AFC. Of course, as with any NFL rumor, caution is warranted. Negotiations could fall apart at any moment, and both parties have so far declined to comment publicly. But the excitement among fans is undeniable. Social media has erupted with speculation, memes, and highlight reels, imagining Donald's dominance against teams like the Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets. Could this be the move that finally turns Buffalo into a Super Bowl powerhouse? Analysts are split, but the potential impact is undeniable. Whether or not Aaron Donald officially signs, the mere rumor is already reshaping how opponents plan for the upcoming season. Bills fans are holding their breath, and the rest of the league is taking notice. If it happens, Buffalo may not just be a team chasing a title. They could become a nightmare every quarterback dreads. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.